Okay, we're ready to go. Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to start with the question number 25 of the state test from 2023. All right, so let's just go ahead and start. And you can ask questions, like, don't hesitate, you know what I mean? All right, so what do we have here? We see a graph, right? And we read Joseph has a part-time job. The graph below represents the amount of Joseph earns in dollars for the number of hours he works. So this represents how many hours. This is the earnings in dollars. And we can clearly say that in 2 hours he makes $30, right? So that means that if we can plug it, so actually let's read the second line here. So based on the graph, which equation can be used to determine the earnings in dollars for every hour he works? Since the hours are the x, right? One of the easiest way to get the right answer would be plugging in 2 instead of the x in all of the equations and see which one will give you 30 as the answer. Okay? So we take the 2, right? It's the x, and we plug it in here. What are we going to get? Obviously, we're not going to get 30, right? We're going to get like 3. So, okay, so that's not the answer. Okay, then we're going to plug it in here. And we will have 30. So that's that's the answer. Y equals 15 times 2, which is 30, and that's exactly what we have for the 2. Okay? This is it. All right, the next question will be question number 31. All right. The line plot shown below represents the number of hits by some players at the baseball tournament. Okay, so we have a line plot. All right, so how many players are represented by the data on the line plot? So basically, this question, like on this line plot, since they say number of hits, and number of hits means that it's 0 hits, 1 hit, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the players who did 0 hits, 3, right? Here it's going to be whatever it is, right? What is it? 4, 7, 5 here, 4 here, 2 here, 5 here, and 1 player who did 7, right? We add up to all these like x's, and that will be the amount of players. As easy as that. Okay. So I noticed that you got 7, right? And this 7 was wrong because it's the number of hits, not the number of players. Okay. The answer, I'm pretty sure it's not 85 of them here, right? So it's 27. Okay, and we are moving on. Number
34.
34. All right. At a deli, customers buying a sandwich can choose one type of bread, one type of meat, and one type of cheese. Okay. Not that big of a deli, you know what I mean? The options for each sandwich are listed below. Okay, so bread, white or wheat, meat, turkey or beef, cheese, American Swiss, or cheddar. Assuming each choice is equally likely, what is the probability a customer will choose a sandwich with white bread, turkey, and Swiss cheese? So look at this. This question is 2 topics inside of the one question. The first topic is the probability, and the second topic is the combination. Why combination? Because combinations will tell us how many possibilities we can have in total. Because what's the probability? Because they're looking like they're doing like what's the probability, right? Probability is desired outcome, right? Like what we need divided or over, not really divided, over total amount of outcomes. So this, what can happen in like generally like everything that can happen, and this specifically what we need. So on the top we need to see how many possibilities of white bread, turkey, and Swiss cheese. It's just going to be one possibility because this is like basically one probability of you get exactly white bread, exactly turkey, and exactly Swiss cheese, right? It's going to be only one combination of that. But how many combinations do we have in total? And that's what you need to know to solve a question like that. So how do we know how many combinations we can get? Is by multiplying all the possibilities. So what do I mean by that? Is that we have two possibilities for bread, right? We write two. We have two possibilities for meat. We write two. We have three possibilities for cheese. We write three. And now in order to find out how many combinations we can make, we're gonna have to multiply all these possibilities between each other. So it's going to be 2 times 3, which is times. 2 times 2, 4 times 3, 12.
Oh.
So it's going to be one combination out of 12 total combinations, and that's why it's A. Okay? That's how it works. Usually, this question is presented by everyone with food a lot. Like you will see food, like combinations of food, and also a combination of clothing. Like let's say you have 3 pairs of sneakers, 2 pairs of jeans, 3 pairs of hoodies, and how many combinations, how many looks you can get, how many combinations, and you have to multiply like how many of each you have, and that's how you can like basically that's how you get how many looks you can create out of all of that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Moving on.
35.
35. All right. Frank is riding a taxi to get to work. The cost of riding a taxi, include one-time fee, is $2.75 and $2.60 per mile. Okay. If Frank rides a taxi for 4 miles and pays $2 tip, how much money will he have left after he pays with a $20 bill? All right, so how much he's going to spend? The cost of riding a taxi, including one-time fee of $2.75. Okay, so $2.75 is one-time fee, right? That's what he's gonna pay no matter what. Plus $2.60 per mile. But how many miles? It's per one, right? But he rode 4 miles, so we're gonna have to multiply that by 4. Plus we're gonna leave the tip, right? So we're gonna have to calculate that. That's gonna be his bill, his total bill, and 7th grade. So calculator, thank you very much. It's going to be 270. No, let's start with the multiplication. 260 times 4, this, plus 275 plus 2. It is $15.15. And right from here, just do minus 20. I know that the answer is going to be negative, but you know that if you would do the other way around, it would be just positive answer, 4.85. So 20 minus that will equal to 4.85. And that's the answer. Okay, so nothing really to discuss here. This is like a classic calculation type of problem. Okay.
38.
38. 38. Maggie owns a dog grooming business. The prices for 2 services are listed below. $31.50 for a dog wash and $17 for a nail trim. Pretty good prices, just so you know. A customer received an 18% discount and a discount. Where are you located, Maggie? you know. Okay, so a customer received an 18% discount when paying for both a dog wash and a nail trim. What is the total price that customer will pay? Okay, so just find the price, right? That's it. Let's just go ahead and do it. Where she's gonna take what she's getting, the total price for dog wash and a nail trim with a discount. Okay, so let's add them first, right? And again, 7th grade, we don't have to. do this, but we can really like, okay, for 48.50, right? So from here we can just first find the discount, right, by multiplying this price by 0.18, a decimal version of 18%. That will give us how much we don't have to pay, and no, this times 0.18, boom. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to subtract 48.50 minus 8, because this I don't have to pay, right? And if you're rushing, you just need to look at the answers and understand that it's going to be 39.77, right? Because 48 minus 8 and change, it has to be 39. If you're not rushing, then just do it on a calculator. It depends on how much time you have. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. What, am I crazy? Okay. All right. Moving on. Number
41.
41. Okay, so we are in the short response now, right? Okay, so this is algebra. This is not even pre-algebra. This is algebra. This is what are you gonna do in maybe not even as much as I mean, you are going to do it in 8th grade, and so is in 9th, and so is in probably on your when you're gonna do SAT prep. So you need to learn how to do this. So what do we have to do here? This is a classic case where we're gonna have to eventually do distributive property, but first we're gonna have to combine the like terms. Look, I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to tell you like exactly. Look, sometimes what people do, they just do this, right? Distribution, see the result, then combine like terms. But you have like terms right inside. So why not just smoosh these two together and then do distribution? And you're going to have to do one distribution less. So it's going to be 18y minus 2y, 16y. So we're going to rewrite everything, but we're going to put 16y there. And now I'm going to distribute 1 over 2 onto 16y and onto 10. This question is basically checking whether you know that, like, which terms are you allowed to combine and which are not. Like, let's say you are not allowed to combine 16y with 10 because you can only combine the ones that have a letter and same letter, and the ones that, and you cannot combine them with the ones that don't. Okay, so they want to see, will you like add 10 to this or not? And you don't, and you can't. Okay, so now all you have to do is just to multiply this by a half. Or you can multiply it by 0.5 if you want to do it in a calculator, but in reality, we do know what is half of 16. Like, you're going to have to do 1 over 2 times 16y and 1 over 2 times 10. And just put the result here, and that will be the answer. So 1 over 2 times 16y is 8y. And 1 over 2 times 10 is 5. And this is it. That's the answer. Let's go.
43.
Is this the next question?
No, yeah, but it's correct. So the 43.
Yeah, okay. Let's look at that. What is that? Diane is planning a party at the trampoline park. It will cost $55 to rent the park. Okay, so let's, you know what? Underlining useful information is actually a really good trick. So you kind of know what to focus on. It will cost $55 to rent the park, plus an additional $8 per guest. Okay. She wants to spend less than $100. on the party. Write and solve an inequality to determine the maximum number of guests G that can be invited when spending less than a total of $100. Okay, so the word less is very key here. Okay, because if they would say that she wants to spend at most $100, that means that $100 is possible, and then we would use this sign or equals to. But this specifically says less. Less means that $100 is not an option. You understand?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to use this sign, which is strictly less. All right, so let's create a inequality. It's going to be like this: 55, which is the fee, plus $8 per guest, and it's gonna go with the G, right? 8 times G, less than 100. A two-step inequality, then we're gonna have to solve. Step 1, subtract the regular number from both sides. Minus 55 on both sides. This goes away. AG drops down. Less than 45. Divide both sides by 8. We get G is less than, and it's 5.625, which means that determine the maximum amount of guests will be, well, it's not going to be enough for the sixth person, right? So the maximum amount will be 5, and that will be the answer. All right, we're moving on for one more, at least. 44. A student tosses a fair coin with heads H on the side and tails T on the other, and rolls a fair number cube with faces number 1 through 6. How many different outcomes are possible? Okay, so how many outcomes are possible? Okay, so be sure to provide a simple space for all possible combinations to support your answer. Okay, so provide simple space. So it's interesting. We're gonna have to list like all the possibilities. So it goes like this. We are going to have to multiply on how many possibilities are possible between heads and tails. So it's kind of like H and T, right? And it's 2 possibilities. And 1 through 6, you can put it, is 6 possibilities, right? And that means, just like with a combination question, right? We're going to have to multiply the possibilities of one and then of the other, which was going to be 12. Now, that's how many different outcomes are possible. So that's what we answered. Like with 12, we answered that question. But then they say, like, be sure to provide the simple space for all possible combinations to support your answer. Well, I guess heads and 1, heads and 2, heads and 3. You understand? Like you flip heads and then you get 1 on a cube, right? Then if you flip heads and then you get 2 on the cube. Okay, so heads and 4, heads and 5, heads and 6. And tails. Tails and 1, tails and 2, tails and 3, tails and 4, tails and 5, tails and 6, and obviously how many? 6 here, 6 here, 12 in total. All right. So this would be it for now. We're going to continue in the next video at our next class. We will have to do more of the short response questions for sure. They are harder questions. So but for now we are done.